My mother-in-law held 5 million yuan in compensation money and didn't give my husband and me a single cent. When she was hospitalized, I couldn't bring myself to sign even one document. On the third day of her hospitalization, I received a total of 17 phone calls. The eldest sister-in-law, the second sister-in-law, the third aunt, the fourth aunt, even distant relatives I barely knew, everyone called. Every single one of them said the same thing: hurry to the hospital. I asked, where is my brother-in-law? There was a 3-second silence on the other end of the line. Don't worry about the second son for now. Just come. I put the phone down. In my mind flashed a sentence my mother-in-law had said 3 years ago. On the day the compensation money was divided, the eldest son is healthy and able-bodied. He doesn't need a share. When I arrived at the hospital, the hallway was already packed with people. The eldest sister-in-law was the first to rush over. She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the ward. You finally came. Mom has been waiting for you. I pulled my hand back. Waiting for me? You're the daughter-in-law. If mom needs surgery, you're the one who has to sign. Who else? I stopped in my tracks. Sign? Where is my husband? The eldest sister-in-law's face stiffened for a moment. Chu Kim Kwan is inside with mom already. But about the signature. The second sister-in-law walked out of the ward at that moment. As soon as she saw me, her eyes turned red. Hey, this time mom is really in danger. The doctor said she needs surgery immediately. We need a signature right away. I glanced at the ward door. Sign what? The surgical consent form. She lowered her voice. And the financial guarantee. I understood instantly. Signing meant paying. Where is my brother-in-law? We can't reach the second son. 5 million yuan was in his hands. And they said they couldn't reach him. The second sister-in-law's face flushed red. At a time like this, how can you still talk about money? If I don't talk about it, who will? I said. 3 years ago, when the money was divided. What did you all say? It's mom's money. She can give it to whoever she wants. What right does a daughter-in-law have? I laughed softly. Right, I have no standing. Then go find someone with standing to sign. I turned to leave. Stop right there. The eldest sister-in-law blocked my way. Mom is lying in there. Are you really just going to walk away? I came to see the situation. I've seen it. At that moment, the ward door opened. My husband, Chu Kim Kwan, came out. His face was dark and tense. You're here? He asked. Yes. Come in. I followed him into the ward. My mother-in-law lay on the bed. Her face sallow, her eyes half open. When she saw me, her lips trembled. Tiu Tuyet, you came? I did. Good, that's good. Tears slid down her face. This old woman still has someone who remembers her. I didn't say anything. Tiu Tuyet, I know you've suffered a lot all these years. She paused. I remained silent, but I really had no choice. The second son isn't married yet. I had to help him a little. I spoke up. Where is he? The room went quiet. He's busy. Busy with what? He went far away to do business. What business? She didn't answer. I turned to look at my husband. Is your brother really far away? Chu Kim Kwan answered in a low voice. We can't reach him. 5 million yuan in his hands. And he couldn't be reached. He avoided my gaze. It's urgent, he said. Just sign it. I sign? I said. I'm a direct relative? Your brother is also a direct relative. I said. So are your 2 sisters. I pointed outside. His face turned pale. They're married daughters, he said. You're a daughter-in-law who married in. So I can sign documents. I said calmly. And I can also take money out. Right? Saving a life is the most important thing right now, he said. Where's the money for the medical bills? He was silent. Kim Kwan, my mother-in-law called weakly. Tell Tiu Tuyet, all my money is with the second son. I laughed coldly. All of it is with him. 5 million yuan, I repeated. All with him. At the time, my mother-in-law said, I thought since he wasn't married, he should hold on to some money. Then where is he? I asked. The money is there. Where is the person? The room fell completely silent. My mother-in-law's eyes filled with tears. He must really have something going on. He wouldn't abandon his mother. Wouldn't he? I said. I stood up. I'll go ask about the surgery details. Tiu Tuyet, my mother-in-law called after me. About the signature. I didn't turn back. Wait until the second son comes back. Then we'll talk. When I stepped out of the ward, All the relatives in the hallway looked at me at once. Their expressions were mixed: reproach, displeasure, even quiet mockery. The eldest sister-in-law came over. "Tiu Tuyat, what you're doing isn't right." "What's not right?" "She's your mother-in-law. A daughter-in-law refusing to sign, people will laugh." I looked at her. 3 years ago, when the compensation money was divided. "What did you say?" Her face stiffened. "You said it yourself. Married daughters are like water poured out. The money had nothing to do with you." I paused slightly. "And now that it's time to sign, suddenly it has something to do with you?" I looked straight into her eyes. "Let me ask you one thing. In the past 3 years, how many times have you visited Mom?" She was speechless. "Let me remind you," I said, raising one finger. "Once, during New Year, you ate one meal and conveniently took 2 cartons of cigarettes." "Chu Tiu Tuyat, what do you mean by that?" "Nothing," I said, turning toward the elevator. "I just want everyone to be a little more clear-headed." The elevator doors opened. I stepped in. At the moment the doors closed, I saw Chu Keen Kwan standing at the ward entrance, looking at me. In his eyes there was anger, helplessness, and something else I couldn't quite understand. I pressed the button for the first floor. My fingers trembled, not from fear, but from rage. 5 million yuan, and they couldn't spare us a single cent. And now they suddenly remembered us. 3 years earlier, when the demolition compensation was announced, my mother-in-law was so happy she couldn't sleep for 3 nights. The old house was ancestral property, large in area. According to the policy, the compensation would be over 5 million yuan. She bragged to everyone she met. "Our family is about to strike it rich." At that time, Keen Kwan and I had been married for 2 years. We were renting an apartment in the city, paying 3,000 yuan a month. Keen Kwan worked as a sales employee at a private company. I was a supermarket cashier. Together, we made just over 10,000 yuan a month. Life was tight, but manageable. When the demolition news came, Keen Kwan discussed it with me. "Tiu Tuyat, if we get some of the money, we could make a down payment on a house. Let's see how Mom divides it." I said. "She won't let us suffer." He was confident. He was the eldest son. By logic, he should get more. I didn't answer. I knew my mother-in-law well. She said all children were equal, but her actions always favored the second son, Chu Keen Kwok. Keen Kwok was the youngest. Born when she was nearly 40. Pampered since birth. Keen Kwan was 5 years older and had grown up hearing, "You're the older brother. You must give way to your younger brother." He had been giving way for 30 years. The meeting to divide the money took place in the living room of the old house. My mother-in-law sat in the main seat. My father-in-law had passed away 3 years earlier. She had full authority over family matters. Present were Keen Kwan, me, Keen Kwok, and the 2 sisters. Keen Kwok was still unmarried. He came alone, wearing a branded t-shirt, his hair slicked and shiny. I heard Keen Kwan say he was doing business outside, but no one really knew what kind. My mother-in-law cleared her throat. "The compensation money is here. 5.12 million yuan. Everyone immediately focused. "I've thought it through," she said, looking around. "Since everyone is here today, let's divide it and be done with it." She looked at the 2 daughters first. "You 2 are married daughters. This money has nothing to do with you." They glanced at each other. Their faces slightly awkward, but said nothing. "We don't want Mom's money," the eldest said with a forced smile. "You should keep it for retirement." "That's right," the second echoed. My mother-in-law nodded and turned to Keen Kwan. "You're the eldest. Since you were young, I taught you to give way to your brother." Keen Kwan's back stiffened. "You have a job and a wife. Your life is stable," she continued. "Your brother is different. He's not married yet. He needs capital." My heart sank. "You mean," Keen Kwan started. "All the money goes to Keen Kwok?" he asked. "Not all of it," she said calmly. "I'll keep 100,000 yuan for myself. The rest goes to your brother." I thought I had misheard. Out of 5.12 million yuan, she kept 100,000 and gave the remaining 5 million to the younger son. Keen Kwan froze. "Mom, don't think too much," she said. "You're healthy and capable. You don't need my help. Your brother needs money for business, for marriage, for everything." "But Mom," Keen Kwan said, "Tiu Tuyat and I are still renting." "So what?" She frowned. "You both have jobs. Save for a few years and you'll manage. Your brother doesn't have a stable job." "That's because he refuses to work," Keen Kwan snapped. How can you talk about your brother like that? She slammed the table. He has ambition. He's out there doing big business. And you? Just a wage earner. What future do you have? Keen Kwan's face flushed. I tugged his sleeve. Mom, he took a deep breath. We're not asking for much. Just give us some money for a down payment. 300,000, he said. 300,000? Her expression changed instantly. Didn't I say it already? The money is for your brother. That's it. Decision made. From start to finish. Keen Kwok didn't say a single word. He sat there with his legs crossed, the corner of his mouth slightly raised, as if watching a farce. I couldn't hold it in anymore. Mom, let me say something. She looked at me with clear displeasure. Go ahead. I know the money is yours, I said, forcing myself to stay calm. You can divide it however you want. But I want to ask, who will you rely on in your old age? She froze. I'm still healthy. Why think about that now? It's something to think about sooner or later. I said, if we're excluded when money is divided, then when care is needed, will you call us? What do you mean by that? Her voice turned sharp. Are you looking down on me? I'm not looking down on you at all. I looked at her. I just want to make things clear in advance. What's there to make clear? She snapped. Keen Kwan is my son. Taking care of me is only natural. She pointed straight at me. You're just a daughter-in-law. What right do you have to say such things? My mother-in-law suddenly stood up. Sit down, she barked, then turned back to me. Chu Tiu Tuyet, let me tell you this clearly. My money is mine. I can give it to whoever I want. If you're unhappy in this family, there's the door. You can leave anytime. I stood up. Fine, I'll go. Tiu Tuyet, Keen Kwan tried to grab me. Sit down. I glanced at him. Be the obedient son your mother wants. I walked out of the living room. Behind me, my mother-in-law's curses followed. What kind of thing is she? She shouted. Didn't get any money and immediately showed her true face. Who spoiled her rotten anyway? Keen Kwok's voice followed as well. Mom, don't be angry. Sister-in-law has always been like that. Brother married someone like her. Just bad luck, I guess. I didn't turn around. My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. That night, Keen Kwan came back to the rented apartment without saying a word. I didn't ask either. The next morning, the compensation money was transferred. 5,020,000 yuan, all of it went straight into Keen Kwok's account. My mother-in-law called Keen Kwan. Keen Kwan, I want to stay at your place for a few days. The old house has been demolished. And the second son's new place is still under renovation. I have nowhere else to go. Keen Kwan looked at me, guilt filling his eyes. Yes, Mom, come over. Those few days turned into 5 years. During those 5 years, Keen Kwok came home exactly 3 times. The first time was during Spring Festival. He stayed 2 days and left. The second time was my mother-in-law's birthday. He ate the meal and left right after. The third time was last year, when he said he wanted to borrow 200,000 yuan to do business. My mother-in-law didn't hesitate at all. She immediately took out 100,000 yuan from her pension and gave it to him. The remaining 100,000, she borrowed from Keen Kwan. Yes, borrowed from the son she had never given a single cent to. Keen Kwan lent him the money. To this day, it hasn't been repaid. I sat in the hospital cafe for nearly an hour. When Keen Kwan finally came to find me, he was holding 2 cups of coffee. Have some, he said. I took the cup but didn't drink it. Tiu Tuyet, I know you feel wronged. He sat across from me. But Mom's situation right now. Keen Kwan, I interrupted. Where is your brother? His expression changed. We can't reach him. Really can't reach him? Calls go unanswered. WeChat messages aren't replied to. Since when? He was silent for a moment. 3 months. I froze. 3 months? Why didn't you say anything earlier? I thought he was just busy. Keen Kwan lowered his head. Mom always said the second son was doing big business outside. Being unreachable was normal. 5 million yuan, I said slowly. Unreachable for 3 months. And you thought that was normal? He didn't answer. Suddenly, I found it almost laughable. Keen Kwan, I said, tell me the truth. Out of those 5 million yuan, how much does your brother have left? He hesitated. I don't know. I could see his hands starting to tremble. Last year he borrowed 200,000 from Mom. He said. I asked him about it. He said business was tough and all the money had been invested. Invested where? He didn't say. And you didn't press him? I did. He said I wouldn't understand. Keen Kwan smiled bitterly. He's always thought I was useless. I nodded. So your brother took 5 million yuan and disappeared. Now your mother is hospitalized and needs money. And suddenly she remembers us. Tiu Tuyet, don't say it like that. I stood up. Keen Kwan, I'm not a saint. I'm not that generous either. 3 years ago, when the money was divided, your mother said I had hands and feet and didn't need help. Now she needs me to sign papers. My hands are still right here. So what do you want? He asked. Go find your brother. I looked at him steadily. The money is in his hands. Let him handle it. If you can't find him, call the police. I told you, I said calmly, I won't sign. Keen Kwan's eyes reddened. That's my mother. I know. I paused. But she's also Chu Keen Kwok's mother. Why does he take the money and vanish? While we get nothing and still have to take responsibility? He had no words. I picked up my bag and walked away. Tiu Tuyet, he chased after me. Are you really just leaving like this? I'm going home first. I turned back to him. You should think carefully about where your brother is, and where the money is. Come find me after you've figured that out. Just as I reached the hospital gate, my phone rang. It was the eldest sister-in-law. Chu Tiu Tuyet, you're really something, she said sharply. Mom is lying in the hospital. And you just leave? Speak more gently, I replied. Gently? My mother is in the hospital. You're the daughter-in-law. You refuse to sign, refuse to pay, and you still expect others to treat you nicely? Then you sign, I said. I'm a married daughter. Why should I sign? I laughed. 3 years ago, when the money was divided, you said married daughters don't get a share. Now it's time to sign papers, don't take a share either. Stick to your principles. I hung up. 10 seconds later, the second sister-in-law called. I didn't answer. Then the third aunt. I still didn't answer. My phone kept ringing non-stop on the way home. I switched it to silent and shoved it into my bag. Back home, I sat on the sofa, staring at the ceiling, my mind completely blank. 5 million yuan. 5,020,000 yuan. Not a single cent for us. Keen Kwan and I had been married 7 years. For the first 3, we rented. Later, we scraped together money to buy a small apartment. The down payment came from my parents' savings. What about my mother-in-law? She said we had hands and feet and didn't need help. Then she moved in with us without a care. 5 full years. In those 5 years, I took care of her meals, her hospital visits, listened to her complain about everything. Meanwhile, my brother-in-law came home once a year, never staying more than 2 days. And each time my mother-in-law hurriedly stuffed money into his hands. Once, I couldn't hold it in and said, Mom, Keen Kwok is already grown. Why are you still giving him money? She shot me a glare. The second son isn't married yet. He needs money in his hands to get married. But he already took 5 million yuan. That's his money. She slammed the table. What does it have to do with you? I said nothing more. She was right. It had nothing to do with me. So why now, when she needed someone to sign papers in the hospital, did it suddenly have something to do with me? I leaned back on the sofa and closed my eyes. My thoughts tangled beyond sorting. The doorbell rang. I opened the door to see Uncle Zhang from next door. Tiu Tuyet, did something happen to your mother-in-law? He peeked inside. I saw your husband leave early this morning. His face looked terrible. She's in the hospital, I said. Oh dear, is it serious? The doctors are still observing. Then why aren't you at the hospital with her? I smiled faintly. Uncle Zhang, my mother-in-law has 2 sons and 2 daughters. It's not my turn. He paused, clearly catching something beneath my words. Is there trouble in your family? It's nothing. I shook my head. Please go about your business. After closing the door, I sat back down and picked up my phone. 67 missed calls, 42 WeChat messages. I opened them one by one. Eldest sister-in-law, Chu Tiu Tuyet. Do you have any conscience at all? Second sister-in-law, Tiu Tuyet. Just help mom this once. Third aunt, as a Chu family daughter-in-law, what you're doing isn't right. Fourth aunt, I heard you refused to sign. You're really impressive. Keen Kwan, Tiu Tuyet. Where are you? Call me back. Keen Kwan. Mom woke up. She keeps asking for you. Keen Kwan. The doctor says surgery tonight would be best. There were also messages from unfamiliar numbers. each nastier than the last. I'm a Chu family relative. I heard you refused to sign for your mother-in-law. Are you even human? Daughters-in-law these days don't know what filial piety is anymore. Just wait until you're old. Let's see if your daughter-in-law treats you the same way. I tossed the phone aside. It wasn't that I was unfilial. It was that this so-called filial duty had always flowed in only one direction. I had endured for years. Yet my mother-in-law had never given us a single yuan. Now she needed a signature. And the first person she thought of was me. Why? Because I had hands and feet. At 8 in the evening, Keen Kwan came home. The moment he walked in, his face was dark, like a storm about to break. Tiu Tuyat, let's talk. Talk about what? About Mom. Have you found your brother? No. Then there's nothing to talk about. He slammed his fist onto the coffee table, making the glass jump. Chu Tiu Tuyat, can you not be like this? He said angrily. That's my mother. I know she's your mother. I looked at him, but let me ask you one thing. When your mother gave 5 million yuan to your brother, did she ever think about you? He froze. When the money was divided, I continued, she said you had hands and feet and didn't need help. Now she needs a signature. And suddenly she remembers you have hands and feet that can sign papers. I stood up. Keen Kwan, do you think that's fair? She's my mother, he said. Why talk about fairness? You may not need fairness, I said quietly, but I do. I looked straight at him. Keen Kwan, I'm not a Chu by blood. I'm a Chu family daughter-in-law. When the money was divided, your mother treated me like an outsider. Now she needs a signature and suddenly remembers I'm a daughter-in-law. So tell me, why should I cooperate? His lips trembled. Tiu Tuyat, you've changed. Yes, I nodded. I've changed. Before, I endured everything. I carried everything. Now I've figured it out. Figured out what? That no one owes anyone anything. I met his gaze. Your mother doesn't owe me. And I don't owe her either. But if we really want to calculate 5 years of taking care of her, what did she ever give me? She never asked you for money, he said weakly. Didn't she? I sneered. Last year your brother borrowed 200,000. Your mother only had 100,000. Who paid the other 100,000? He was silent. Has that money been returned? Still silent. Keen Kwan, I'm not unreasonable. I took a deep breath. Your brother took 5 million yuan. He should take responsibility. Find him. Let him sign. Let him pay. He's the biological son, not me. What if we can't find him? He asked desperately. Then call the police. And say what? His voice broke. Say my brother took the money and disappeared? Tiu Tuyat, he said, almost pleading. He's my real brother. So what am I supposed to do? I raised my voice as well. Chu Keen Kwan, tell me, what exactly am I supposed to do? Why is your brother allowed to take the money and disappear, while we get nothing and still have to shoulder all the responsibility? Keen Kwan collapsed onto the chair, burying his head in his hands. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do, I said. I picked up my car keys from the table. From today on, I'm no longer involved in your mother's affairs. If a signature is needed, you sign it. If money is needed, you handle it. Starting tomorrow, I'll keep my own salary card. Tiu Tuyat. Don't call me. I opened the door. I'm going back to my mom's place for a few days. You stay here and think it through carefully. I stepped out. Behind me, his voice followed. Tiu Tuyat, you can't do this. Can't do what? I turned back to look at him. I can't be like your brother, wipe my hands clean and walk away? His face flushed red. I closed the door, went downstairs, and got into my car. On the road, tears kept falling. Unstoppable. I wasn't heartless. She was my husband's mother. My child's grandmother. But I really couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't accept that the person who took 5 million yuan vanished without a trace, while the people who got nothing had to step up and clean the mess. I couldn't endure being treated unfairly for 3 years and still be expected to smile and comply. I just couldn't. The car stopped downstairs at my mother's apartment. I sat there for another half hour, wiped my tears dry, and then went upstairs. When my mother opened the door and saw my face, she froze. Tiu Tuyat, why are you back? Mom, I want to stay here for a few days. Did something happen? My mother-in-law is in the hospital. Oh my God, is it serious? They're still observing. She may need surgery. Then why aren't you at the hospital taking care of her? I smiled faintly. But after only a few seconds, tears overflowed again. Mom, I don't want to take care of it anymore. She pulled me inside, closed the door, and sat me down. Tell me everything. I told her everything from beginning to end. 3 years ago, the 5 million yuan compensation was given entirely to my brother-in-law. Over the past 3 years, he had visited his mother only 3 times, while my husband and I had taken care of her every single day. Now she was hospitalized, he couldn't be reached, and everyone turned around and demanded that I sign the papers. After listening, my mother was silent for a long time. Tiu Tuyat, she finally said, you did the right thing. I looked up at her. This matter should be Chu Keen Kwok's responsibility, she said firmly. She sighed. Your mother-in-law has been biased her whole life. Now that something has happened, why should it be you who bears it? But Keen Kwan is her son, I said. And isn't Chu Keen Kwok her son as well? My mother looked at me. Who did she give the 5 million yuan to? To Chu Keen Kwok. Then let him sign. Let him take responsibility. If he's disappeared and can't be found, that's the consequence your mother-in-law has to bear herself. Who told her to be unfair from the start? I stared at her. It was the first time I had ever heard my mother speak so bluntly. Mom, I said quietly, didn't you always tell me to endure? That was before. Now is different. She patted my hand. I wasn't telling you to swallow humiliation. I was telling you not to lower yourself to pointless arguments. But this time is different. This is a matter of principle. What principle? When money was divided, you had no share. When trouble comes, they remember you. If you give in once, there will be a second time. You sign this time, and next time something happens, it will still be your turn to carry it. And my mother-in-law? I asked. Let Chu Keen Kwok handle it. If he really can't be found, call the police. 5 million yuan isn't a small amount. He can't run very far. I nodded. I understand, Mom. Stay here tonight, she said, standing up. Don't go back. Mom, I called after her, then hesitated. Thank you. She smiled. Why are you being polite? You're my daughter. If I don't help you, who will? At that moment, my throat tightened. Both were mothers, yet my mother had never been biased. When my brother and I were in school, tuition was split evenly. When I got married and when my brother got married, the betrothal gifts and dowries were fair. The down payment for my apartment was money my parents helped gather. And they never asked for a single cent back. And my mother-in-law? 5 million yuan, all given to my brother-in-law, without even a word of explanation. You have hands and feet. You don't need help. I remembered that sentence for 3 full years. Now, at last, I could return it. The next morning, Keen Kwan called. Tiu Tuyat, where are you? At my mom's. Have you found my brother for mom's surgery? No. Then talk to me again when you do. Tiu Tuyat, the doctor says we can't wait any longer. Then you sign. I signed, he said, but we still need another family member. I asked my sisters. They said they're married daughters and don't have standing. I laughed coldly. Keen Kwan, listen to your family's logic carefully. When the money was divided, married daughters had no share. You had no share either. Now that signatures are needed, married daughters have no standing. But you do. When money is needed, married daughters have no obligation. But you do. So all the good things go to Chu Keen Kwok, and all the bad things fall on you? He was silent. Just come back and sign once, he said tiredly. No. Why? Because it's unfair, I said calmly. Keen Kwan, if you want me to sign, that's fine, but we settle accounts first. Settle what accounts? 3 years ago, your mother gave Chu Keen Kwok 5,020,000 yuan. You got nothing. Yes. For the past 3 years, your mother lived with us. Food, daily expenses, hospital visits, I handled all of it. Yes. Last year, Chu Keen Kwok borrowed 200,000 yuan. Your mother gave 100,000. Who paid the other 100,000? Yes. I paused. Add it all up. Your mother owes us more than just money. Keen Kwan, I continued, I'm not unreasonable. I just want you to think clearly. Are you the eldest son of the Chu family? Or are you an ATM and an emergency backup plan? On the other end of the line, his breathing grew rapid. What do you want? He asked. Very simple, I said. Find Chu Keen Kwok and make him take responsibility. He's your mother's biological son. He has the 5 million yuan. This is his problem. And if we can't find him? Then call the police. Tu Tuyet. If you don't call the police, I won't sign, I said. This is my final line. The call ended. 10 minutes later, the eldest sister-in-law called. Chu Tiu Tuyet, are you insane? She shouted. You want Keen Kwan to call the police? Call the police on whom? His own brother? Taking 5 million yuan and disappearing for 3 months. I said calmly. If that's not fraud, what is? He's his own brother. Blood family. Does being blood family mean no responsibility? She choked with rage. I'm telling you, she yelled, if you dare let Keen Kwan call the police, you'll be the sinner of the Chu family. Sister, I replied, I was never a member of the Chu family to begin with. You said it yourself, a daughter-in-law has no standing. She hung up. Over the next few hours, my phone was nearly blown up. The second sister-in-law, the third aunt, the fourth aunt took turns bombarding me. They all said the same thing. How can you be so heartless? Your mother-in-law is still lying in the hospital. Can't you just sign your name? I didn't answer anyone. At noon, my mother cooked a full table of dishes. Stop thinking about it, eat first. I nodded and picked up my chopsticks. After only a few bites, the doorbell rang. My mother went to open the door. Standing outside was Keen Kwan. His eyes were bloodshot, his beard unshaven. One look and I knew he hadn't slept all night. Tiu Tuyet, he said hoarsely, can we talk? I put down my chopsticks. About what? I already called the police. I froze. You did? I did. He walked in and sat down across from me. The police said my brother is involved in online gambling. The chopsticks slipped from my hand and fell to the floor. What did you say? The police said someone reported him for running an online gambling operation. Keen Kwan's voice was raw. The 5 million yuan was probably gone a long time ago. My mother's expression changed instantly. The police are still investigating. Keen Kwan lowered his head. But they're sure he owes a lot of money and has already fled. I sat back in my chair, unable to speak. 5 million yuan meant for my mother-in-law's retirement, gone. Not only gone, but buried under debt. Does your mother know? My mother asked. Not yet. Keen Kwan shook his head. I'm afraid she won't be able to take it. I stood up. Keen Kwan, this has nothing to do with me anymore. Tiu Tuyet, he said hoarsely. My brother burned through all 5 million yuan, ran up debts, and disappeared. I looked at him. That mess is not my responsibility to clean up. But your mother is still in the hospital. Call your sisters to handle it. I paused. After all, they never got a cent from her. I didn't get money either, and I even contributed an extra 100,000. Keen Kwan's eyes reddened. Tiu Tuyet, I know you've suffered a lot. Don't say suffered. I cut him off. Keen Kwan, have you ever thought that if your mother had split the money evenly back then, just giving us 1 million yuan, our life would be completely different now? He was silent. Have you ever thought that while your brother was gambling away 5 million yuan, we were pinching pennies just to survive in a rental? Still silent. Have you ever thought that your mother lived in our home for 5 years? And I took care of her every meal and every night, and she never once said thank you? Keen Kwan lowered his head. Tiu Tuyet, You don't need to say it. I said. I picked up my coat. I'm going to the hospital. He looked up sharply. Why are you going there? There are a few things, I said calmly, that I want to say directly to your mother. When I arrived at the hospital, my mother-in-law had just finished her examination. She was alone in the ward. Neither the eldest sister nor the second sister was there. I pushed the door open and walked in. She froze when she saw me. Tiu Tuyet, you're here? Yes, I'm here. Where's Keen Kwan? He went to handle the paperwork. Oh, she leaned against the headboard, forcing a conciliatory smile. I've really suffered this time. I've troubled you children too much. I sat down beside the bed. Mom, may I ask you a question? Go ahead. 3 years ago, when you divided the compensation money, did you ever think about today? Her expression changed instantly. Tiu Tuyet, what do you mean by that? Nothing, I said calmly, looking at her. I just want to ask, when you gave all 5 million yuan to Keen Kwok, did you ever consider what would happen if he didn't take care of you? He would never abandon me. She replied immediately. He's my son. I raised him myself. Then where is he now? She froze. He's doing business outside. Do you know what kind of business he's doing? Business? What kind of business? I don't know. I nodded. Then let me tell you. Keen Kwok has been running an online gambling operation. The 5 million yuan was gone long ago. Now he's drowning in debt and has fled. Her face turned deathly pale. What did you say? I'm telling the truth, I replied. Keen Kwon reported it to the police himself. That's what the police said. That's impossible. She suddenly sat up. My second son would never lie to me. If he said he was doing business, then he was doing business. Then where is he now? She couldn't answer. Call him, I said. See if he picks up. She hesitated for a few seconds. Then tremblingly dialed Keen Kwok's number. On the other end came the familiar automated voice. The number you have dialed is currently powered off. She dialed again. Impossible. My second son couldn't do this. He couldn't. Mom, wake up. I stood up. The son you cherish took 5 million yuan. Gambled it all away, and ran. Now you're lying in the hospital. And he can't even be bothered to make a single phone call. No. She shook her head desperately. Something must have happened to him. He would never abandon me. Then wait for him, I said, picking up my bag. Wait for him to come back and sign the papers and pay the bills. I'll be leaving now. Tiu Tuyet, she called after me. You can't leave. Where's Keen Kwon? Call Keen Kwon here. He's doing the paperwork. Then you stay with me. I turned back to look at her. Mom, what did you just say? You said Keen Kwok is your son. The one you raised yourself. Then what about me? What am I? She was silent. 3 years ago, when the money was divided, you said I had hands and feet and didn't need help. You also said I was a married daughter-in-law and had no standing. I paused. You were right. I'm a daughter-in-law with no standing. I have no standing to receive money. And no standing to sign papers either. You should go find your biological son. I looked straight into her eyes and said my final words. For 3 years, I took care of your meals. Every hospital visit, every complaint and sigh. Have you ever treated me kindly even once? Have you ever said thank you even a single time? Her lips began to tremble. I'm the mother-in-law. It's only natural for a daughter-in-law to endure. Then it's only natural, I said coldly, for a filial son to take care of his mother. Go find your son. I walked out of the ward. Behind me came the sound of my mother-in-law sobbing uncontrollably. Tiu Tuyet, you can't treat me like this. I'm your mother-in-law. I didn't turn back. In the hallway, the eldest sister stepped forward. What did you just say to Mom? I told the truth. What truth? That Keen Kwok gambled away all 5 million yuan and ran. Her face stiffened immediately. Where did you hear that? Keen Kwon reported it to the police. I looked at her. Eldest sister, you knew about this long ago, didn't you? Her eyes began to waver. I didn't know anything. Didn't know? I laughed. Then last year, when Keen Kwok borrowed money from you, why didn't you lend it? Didn't you say you had no money? And didn't your husband buy a new car that same year? Her face flushed red. Chu Tiu Tuyet, don't twist things like that. I'm not twisting anything. I'm just asking one thing. I stared at her. Before he ran away, Keen Kwok borrowed money from you, didn't he? She said nothing. How much? 50,000. Did you give it to him? No. Why not? I didn't know what he was going to do with it. Didn't know? I sneered. You knew. You knew he was gambling. You knew he would cause trouble sooner or later. So you didn't lend him the money. But you didn't tell Mom. You didn't tell Keen Kwon either. You just watched Mom pour all 5 million yuan into him. You watched Keen Kwon get nothing. Her face turned alternately pale and flushed. Chu Tiu Tuyet, don't slander me. Whether it's slander or not, you know best yourself. I walked past her toward the elevator. Eldest sister, think of your own way to handle Mom's situation. I no longer have the standing to deal with it. She stood there, stunned. I didn't look back. The elevator doors opened, and I stepped inside. As the doors closed, I saw her still standing there, her face dark and heavy. I pressed the button for the first floor and took a deep breath. Finally, I had said everything. The words I had swallowed for 3 years were finally spoken. That evening, Keen Kwon came to my mother's house to find me. He looked even worse than he had in the morning. Tiu Tuyet, let's talk. I let him in. Go ahead. The surgery money isn't enough, he said, sitting down on the couch. The hospital requires a 10,000 deposit up front. Then pay it. I only have 3,000. I looked at him. 3,000? What about your salary? I've spent almost all of it over the years. He lowered his head. Tuyet, can you lend me some temporarily? I'll pay you back later. I was silent for a moment. Keen Kwan, let me ask you one question. Go ahead. If 3 years ago your mother had given our family 1 million yuan, how much savings do you think we'd have now? He froze. Probably 5 or 600,000. Exactly. I nodded. Several 100,000. Back then, we wouldn't have needed my parents to help with the down payment. The mortgage would have been much lighter. But now, how much do we have? He was silent. 60,000, I said. Last year, you borrowed 100,000 from me. Now there's only 60,000 left in the account. Tuyet, it's not that I don't want to borrow. I cut him off. I just want you to think about one thing. Who should be paying for your mother's surgery? Can you handle it alone? He said nothing. What about your brother? He can't be found. What about your eldest sister? She says she has no money. Your second sister? Same answer. And your third and fourth aunts? They say this is your mother's business. Why should they pay? I laughed bitterly. Keen Kwan, do you see it clearly now? See what? Your Chu family. I looked straight at him. When money was divided, everyone got a share. When trouble comes, everyone washes their hands clean. His face flushed red. Tuyet, I know our family really has problems. Not really, I said. It's always had problems. Your brother took 5 million yuan and ran. Your sisters call mom lovingly every day. But when something happens, they can't take out a single cent. And you, the eldest son, were taught from childhood to give way to your younger siblings. After 30 years, you got nothing. Tuyet, I don't blame you, I said, taking a deep breath. I just want you to see clearly what kind of family this really is. He lowered his head. I understand. If you understand, I asked, then what's your plan from now on? What do you mean? Your mother's situation. Let's say we cover the surgery this time. What about next time? And the time after that? Your mother is 72. Illnesses will only increase. Are we supposed to shoulder everything every time? He didn't answer. Keen Kwan, it's not that I don't want to help you. I stood up. But first, you have to sort out your family issues clearly. Your brother ran away. Who pays his debts? Your sisters won't contribute. How will elder care be divided in the future? You need to think all of this through. I've thought about it, he said. And what did you come up with? He looked up, his eyes firm. I want to cut ties. I froze. What? Cut ties with Keen Kwok. He said. He took 5 million yuan, ran away, and made my mother fall ill. I don't want anything to do with him anymore. Does your mother agree? Whether she agrees or not doesn't matter anymore. He stood up. Tuyet, I know you've suffered a lot all these years. From today on, I'm cutting ties with Keen Kwok. His debts are his. I'll take care of my mother's affairs. But I won't be involved in his problems anymore. I looked at him. Have you really thought this through? Yes. What about your sisters? If they don't contribute money, they don't get to interfere. His voice was resolute. Whoever pays gets to decide. If they don't pay, they keep quiet. I was silent for a moment. Then let me ask you one last question. Ask. Where will your mother live in the future? He hesitated. She can't continue living with us anymore. I said quietly, Keen Kwan, this is my boundary. For 3 years she lived in our home. And I never complained once. But from now on, that won't happen again. Then where? He asked. A nursing home, I said. We'll contribute a portion. Your sisters contribute a portion. Split evenly. If she doesn't want to go to a nursing home, then she can take turns staying at your sisters' places. I said calmly. Tuyet, this is my limit. I looked straight at him. Either she goes to a facility, or she lives with your sisters. We can contribute money, but she cannot continue living in our home. Keen Kwan was silent for a long time. All right, he finally said. I agree. He looked at me. Tuyet, you're right. Over the years, you've suffered far too much. I kept thinking that enduring a little would solve everything. But the more I endured, the worse things became. From now on, I'll listen to you. My eyes suddenly burned. As for the surgery money, he added, standing up, I'll find a way to manage it. He walked toward the door, then turned back to look at me. Tuyet, thank you. Thank me for what? For helping me see things clearly. He smiled faintly. I used to think that a son being filial to his parents was only natural. But I forgot one thing. Filial piety has to go both ways. Parents must care for their children first, only then can children truly be filial. It can't be one side endlessly giving while the other endlessly takes. When did you figure all this out? I asked. Just now, he said. You were right, our family has had problems for a long time. My brother was spoiled excessively. And I was neglected. That wasn't your fault. And it wasn't mine. It was because mom was biased. And dad stayed silent. Before, I didn't dare face it. Now I do. He opened the door and left. I stood there in the room for a long time without moving. This was the first time in 7 years of marriage that I had ever heard words like that from Keen Kwan. Maybe he really had changed. 2 days later, my mother-in-law underwent surgery. In the end, the surgery money was scraped together like this. Keen Kwan put in 3,000. The eldest sister 2,000. The second sister 1,000. And the remaining 4,000 came from me. When the eldest sister handed over the cash, her face was visibly unpleasant. I said only one thing. This money is a loan to mom. It will need to be paid back later. The second sister immediately chimed in. That's right, it's a loan. I didn't say anything. Keen Kwan glanced at both sisters. Fine, it's a loan. If you want to have a say in mom's affairs later, pay it back. If you don't want to participate anymore, then treat it as filial money and don't complain. The two sisters exchanged looks and said nothing. The surgery was successful. My mother-in-law stayed in the ICU for 2 days before being transferred to a regular ward. I went to visit her once. She lay on the bed, thin and frail, her complexion sallow. When she saw me, her eyes immediately reddened. Tiu Tuyat, Mom is sorry. I sat down beside the bed. Mom, don't say that. I was muddle-headed before. She said, tears falling. I spoiled my second son too much. I always thought he was the youngest. That helping him a little was no big deal. I never imagined. She stopped herself. What's done is done. Saying it now is useless. She grasped my hand. Tiu Tuyat, from now on, I'll listen to you. If you tell me to go to a nursing home, I'll go. I don't want to trouble you children anymore. I looked at her hand, dry, thin, covered in age spots. The woman who had been so proud 3 years ago now lay here like a withered leaf. Mom, I said softly, I'm not trying to drive you away. I just hope that from now on, you can treat everyone fairly. I know, she nodded repeatedly. And one more thing, I added, if you ever manage to contact Keen Kwok again, don't give him any more money. She hesitated for a few seconds, then nodded. I won't, absolutely not. I didn't say anything else. I stood up and left the ward. In the hallway, Keen Kwan was leaning against the wall, watching me. How did it go? She admitted her mistakes. Do you believe her? He asked. I shook my head. I don't know, but at least for now, she no longer has the standing to oppose me. He gave a strained smile. Tiu Tuyat, you've worked hard all these years. Let's not bring it up anymore. I patted his shoulder lightly. It's more important to finish dealing with your brother's situation. The police say he's involved in online gambling. Keen Kwan said, because the amount is large. They've officially opened a case. And the debts? They're still investigating. He sighed, but it's certain that the 5 million is gone. He probably owes more than another million. More than $1 million? I closed my eyes. That precious son of my mother-in-law had taken 5 million yuan to gamble. Lost it all, and left behind a mountain of debt. Have the creditors come to the house? I asked. The police said if they do, just report it. Keen Kwan replied. Online gambling debts aren't protected by law. I nodded. That's good. Tiu Tuyat, let's go home, Keen Kwan said, taking my hand. I'll handle mom's affairs. I looked at him. In 7 years, this was the first time I'd heard him say that. All right, I said. As we walked out of the hospital, we happened to run into the eldest sister. When she saw us, her expression was a little awkward. Keen Kwan, how's mom? She just got out of the ICU. She's still being observed. Oh, the eldest sister nodded, then looked at me. Tiu Tuyat, what happened that day was my fault. I didn't respond. I shouldn't have said those things to you. Her voice grew quieter. Actually, I knew for a long time that Keen Kwok was gambling. I just didn't dare tell mom. I was afraid she couldn't take it. So I just watched her give him all the money. Her face flushed. I never imagined he'd lose everything like that. Sister, I said calmly. I don't want to dig up the past. But I hope you remember one thing. From now on, when it comes to mom's affairs, either contribute money or stay silent. Wanting to interfere without paying, there's no such option. Her face alternated between red and white. In the end, she nodded. I understand. Good, I said, stepping past her and walking on. Behind me, Keen Kwan said quietly, Tiu Tuyat, what you said just now was a bit harsh. Harsh? I turned to look at him. Keen Kwan, do you know how many times your eldest sister visited mom over the past 3 years? How many? 3 times. Every time she came empty-handed. And when she left, she took things with her. Last time, she carried away 2 boxes of apples I'd bought for 200 yuan. He was silent. And your second sister? I continued. 5 times. Every visit she complained about being poor. Said her husband didn't earn much. Said her child's schooling was expensive. And asked mom for money. Do you know how much mom gave her? He shook his head. I do, I said. Over 3 years. At least 200,000. His face changed. Where did mom get that kind of money? Her 10,000 a month pension. I said. When the compensation money was divided, she kept 100,000 for herself. Over 3 years, she gave your second sister 200,000. Your brother 100,000. Plus medical and living expenses. How much do you think was left? How much? Less than 1,000, I said. She told me herself. She said she was almost out of money. I looked at him. Do you know why this time we had to pay for the surgery? Because your mother truly had nothing left. She gave everything to your brother and your 2 sisters. She didn't leave a single cent for herself. I grabbed Keen Kwan's hand tightly. You need to ask her about this. Don't, I said, pulling him back. It's useless. She'll just say your second brother isn't married yet and needs money. Second brother, he's the only one she ever sees. He was silent for a long time. Tiu Tuyat, I'm sorry, he said at last. Sorry for what? For not giving you a decent home. His eyes reddened. My mother is biased. My sisters are selfish. My brother is ruined. A family like this has made you suffer. I looked at him. Keen Kwan, I married you, not your family. I held his hand. As long as you stand on my side, nothing else matters. He nodded. I stand on your side. 1 month later, my mother-in-law was discharged from the hospital, and the nursing home arrangement was finally settled. There was a nursing home in the city with decent conditions, not far from our place. It cost 5,000 a month. Keen Kwan paid 2,000. I paid 1,000. The eldest sister paid 1,000. And the second sister paid 1,000. At first, the eldest sister refused, asking why she had to contribute. Keen Kwan said, Sister, either you contribute money or you don't interfere in mom's affairs in the future. Choose one. In the end, she had no choice but to pay. The second sister was more straightforward and agreed immediately, perhaps because 1,000 a month was still better than having mom live with her. On the day we sent my mother-in-law to the nursing home, I went with her. Sitting in the wheelchair, she looked at the entrance of the facility, her eyes vacant. Tiu Tuyat, she said softly, do I really have to live here? Mom, try staying for a while. I replied, if you're not used to it, we'll talk about it later. Her eyes welled up. I've never lived in a place like this. Mom, I said gently, I'm telling you the truth. I crouched down and looked straight into her eyes. Your health right now requires professional care. Both Keen Kwan and I have to work and don't have the time. Your 2 daughters have families of their own as well. At the nursing home, there are trained caregivers. It's much better than staying at home. But what about Keen Kwok? Don't mention him anymore. I cut her off. He took 5 million and ran. The police are looking for him. Just pretend you never had that son. Her lips trembled. In the end, she couldn't say a word. I pushed her into the facility, completed the paperwork, and helped organize her belongings. When I was about to leave, she called out softly, Tiu Tuyat. Yes? Thank you. I froze. This was the first time my mother-in-law had ever said thank you to me. There's no need, I replied quietly. Just focus on recovering. We'll come visit on the weekend. She nodded. As I left the nursing home, I turned back one last time. She sat alone in a wheelchair by the window, staring outside. Her back looked unbearably lonely. I took a deep breath and walked on. I wasn't being cruel. This was her own choice. When the compensation money was divided back then, she chose Keen Kwok. Now Keen Kwok had fled, And she could only bear the consequences herself. I owed her nothing. When I got home, Keen Kwan had already prepared dinner. "So?" he asked. "She's settled in." I sat down. "She cried." "She's always cried." Keen Kwan sighed. "When I disobeyed as a kid. She cried. When my younger brother disobeyed. She cried too. And after crying, she still spoiled him." "Don't think about it anymore," I said, picking up my chopsticks. We ate quietly for a while before Keen Kwan spoke again. "Tiu Tuyat, there's something I want to discuss with you." "What is it?" "I want to change jobs." I looked up. "To what kind of job?" "A friend introduced an opportunity. The salary is double my current one. But it requires business trips. I might be away half the month." I thought for a moment. "You want to take it?" "Yes." He looked at me. "I want to earn more money. These past years, I've made life hard for you. I want you to live better." "You haven't made life hard for me," I said. "If you want to go, then go. I support you. Just stay true to yourself." "Really?" "Really." I smiled. "I'm not the type to hold my husband back. You go make money. I'll take care of things at home. That's enough." His eyes reddened. "Thank you, Tiu Tuyat." "Thank me for what?" I put a piece of meat into his bowl. "Eat, it's getting cold." We took a long time finishing that meal. Afterward, Keen Kwan went to wash the dishes. I sat on the sofa watching TV. The news was reporting on a massive online gambling ring busted by police. The amount involved exceeded 2 million, and over 30 suspects had been arrested. Suddenly, something occurred to me. "Keen Kwan, is there any news about your brother?" "The police say they're still looking for him," he replied from the kitchen. "He probably ran to another province." "And the debt?" "A creditor came by once. I called the police. They said online gambling debts aren't legally protected and told them to deal with it themselves." I nodded. "That's good." Tiu Tuyat. Keen Kwan dried his hands and walked out. "There's something I've always wanted to tell you. But I didn't know how." "What is it?" "Before he ran away, my brother left a letter for our mother." I stiffened. "A letter?" Keen Kwan took a sheet of paper from the drawer and handed it to me. I unfolded it. It was Keen Kwok's handwriting. "Mom, I've failed you. I lost all the money and still owe a lot. I don't have the face to come home. So I can only hide for now. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Let my brother and sister-in-law take care of you. They're good people. When I make it someday, I'll definitely come back and repay you." I folded the letter. "When did he write this?" 3 days ago, when Mom was admitted to the hospital. Keen Kwan said. "She hid it and didn't let us see it. I only found it under her pillow while packing yesterday." I was silent for a moment. "What do you think?" "About what?" "The letter." Keen Kwan smiled bitterly. "What's there to think? It's just running away from responsibility. He lost everything and left us to clean up the mess." "Does your mother know you've read it?" "Yes." "What did she say?" His expression grew complicated. "She said Keen Kwok would definitely come back to repay her someday." I laughed, not mockingly, but helplessly. "Keen Kwan, your mother probably won't wake up to reality in this lifetime." He sat beside me. "As long as I have. That's enough." 3 months later, Keen Kwok was arrested. The police notified us. He had been hiding in a small county in another province, doing odd jobs to survive, until someone recognized him and reported him. When Keen Kwan got the call, he stood frozen for a long time. "They caught him?" "Yes, they did." "What are you going to do?" I asked. "What do you mean? Are you going to see him?" He was silent for a long time. "No." "Really?" "Really." He looked at me. "I've thought it through. He's my brother, but I don't owe him anything. Whatever he caused, he bears it himself." I nodded. "What about your mother? Does she know?" "Not yet." "Are you going to tell her?" "Yes, sooner or later." That afternoon, we went to the nursing home. Keen Kwan told her Keen Kwok had been arrested. She froze, then burst into tears. My youngest son. Keen Kwan's face remained calm. "He broke the law. He has to be punished." "He's your brother. How can you abandon him?" "I can't help him," Keen Kwan said. "He was involved in online gambling with a huge amount. No one can save him." "Then I'll go. I have to see him." "Can you even walk?" I asked softly. She looked down at her legs and fell silent. After the surgery, her legs had grown weak. She needed help just to walk. Just stay here and focus on your health, Keen Kwan said as he stood up. Keen Kwok's case will be handled by the law. She grabbed his hand tightly. You can't abandon your brother. He's your flesh and blood. Let me ask you something, Keen Kwan said. 3 years ago, when the compensation money was divided, did you think about me at all? She was silent. You gave all 1 million to Keen Kwok and not a single cent to me. Tu Tuyat and I had to rent a place. You said we were able-bodied and didn't need it. And what about Keen Kwok? He took 5 million, gambled it away, ran, and now he's been arrested. And you're telling me to take responsibility for him? How can you talk to me like this? She cried. I'm just stating facts, Keen Kwan replied calmly. I don't resent you, but I won't let you bind me with morality anymore. Keen Kwok is your son. So am I. You favored him your entire life. Now you have to bear the consequences. Tears streamed down her face. Why have you changed? You used to be so obedient. I was obedient because I didn't understand, Keen Kwan said. Now I do. He turned and walked out. I stayed a moment longer. He's right, I said as I stood. Don't interfere in Keen Kwok's affairs anymore. His debts are his own. Just focus on your health. Tu Tuyat, let me say one last thing. I looked straight at her. Back then, you said we had hands and feet. Now, our hands are still here, but they won't be used for you to control us anymore. Outside, Keen Kwan leaned against the car waiting for me. Let's go. Okay. We drove in silence. After a while, he spoke. Thank you, Tu Tuyat. For what? For helping me wake up. Without you, I'd probably still be controlled by my mother. I held his hand. I never wanted to break your family apart. I just wanted you to understand the difference between fairness and favoritism. I do now. That's enough. The car continued forward. Sunlight flooded in through the window. I leaned back and closed my eyes. After 3 years, this day had finally come. Half a year passed. Life gradually returned to peace. Keen Kwan changed jobs, and his income doubled. I was promoted to team leader, and my salary increased by 1,000. We paid a down payment on a house and also replaced our car with a new one. My mother-in-law continued living at the nursing home, and her health recovered quite well. Every weekend, Keen Kwan and I went to visit her. She didn't talk much anymore. Each time she saw us, she would just smile softly and say, "You two are here." She never mentioned Keen Kwok, nor did she talk about money again. The third aunt and fourth aunt stopped by occasionally as well, but they never stayed more than half an hour. Just let them be, Keen Kwan said. At least they still pay their share on time. I nodded. That's already a blessing. As for Keen Kwok, he was sentenced to 3 years. The news came from the police. Keen Kwan didn't attend the trial, nor did he visit the prison. He treated it as if he no longer had that younger brother. He's already in prison, Keen Kwan said. I don't care about him anymore. Does your mother know? She does. Keen Kwan let out a long sigh. She cried hard once, then never brought it up again. Did she ask you to visit him? She mentioned it once. I refused. She didn't say anything after that. I nodded. My mother-in-law had probably truly grown old, or perhaps she had finally seen things clearly. That day when we went to visit her, she suddenly held my hand and said, "Tu Tuyat, I've done many things wrong in my life." I was taken aback. My biggest mistake was favoring my second son. Tears shimmered in her eyes. I always thought he was still young and needed more care. I never expected. Don't stop, she said firmly when I tried to interrupt. I have to say it. She gripped my hand tightly. Tu Tuyat, I owe you an apology. All these years, you took care of me, brought me to the hospital, made sure I ate properly, and I never once said thank you. Today, I want to say thank you. My eyes suddenly stung. It's all in the past, I said softly. No, it isn't, she shook her head. I know some things aren't easy to forget. I only hope that you and Keen Kwan will live well from now on. Don't end up like me, old and with no one left. You still have family, I said. Keen Kwan is your son. I'm your daughter-in-law. We won't abandon you. Tears slid silently down her face. I know you're good people. It was me, I was too stubborn and arrogant back then. I didn't say anything more. I just squeezed her hand gently. Some things didn't need to be said again and again. The past was past. The future would reveal itself in time. A year later, I became pregnant. When the news spread, Everyone was overjoyed. Keen Kwan was as happy as a child, clinging to me every day. My own mother called daily to ask what I was eating and whether I was sleeping well. When my mother-in-law heard the news, she burst into tears. That's wonderful, that's wonderful. At the nursing home, she proudly held the caregiver's hand. My daughter-in-law is pregnant. I'm going to be a grandmother. The caregiver smiled. Congratulations, ma'am. Later, Keen Kwan told me about this. Mom said that once the baby is born, she wants to come help take care of him. I looked at him. What did you say? I told her we'd see how things go. He hesitated, then asked, Tiu Tuyat, what do you think? I thought for a moment. She can come help, but she can't live with us. What do you mean? She can come during the day, but she has to return to the nursing home at night. I looked at Keen Kwan. It's not that I don't trust her. It's just that there are some mistakes we can't afford to repeat. He nodded. I understand. I'll talk to her. After that, my mother-in-law really did come to help. Every day she arrived at 9 in the morning and left at 6 in the evening to return to the nursing home. She spoke very little but worked diligently, washing clothes, cooking, cleaning, never complaining once. One afternoon, I was resting on the sofa while she sat nearby knitting. Tiu Tuyat, there's something I want to say to you, she said. Yes, Mom. The thing I regret most in my life is how I divided the compensation money back then. She stopped knitting. If I had given you some at the time, things wouldn't have ended up like this. Don't stop, I said. No, I have to finish. She looked at me. Back then, I thought my eldest son was capable and didn't need help. The youngest was weak, so I had to support him. And what was the result? I supported him until he became useless. And I pushed away the ones who truly cared. I didn't say anything. Tiu Tuyat, I don't dare ask for your forgiveness. Her eyes reddened. I only hope that you and Keen Kwan will live happily. Don't end up like me, old and alone. I took a deep breath. I don't hold it against you, I said, but there are things I can't forget either. Still, that's okay. We just need to look forward. She nodded. Yes, look forward. She lowered her head and continued knitting. I glanced at her profile and suddenly realized that she had truly grown old, not just physically, but in her heart as well. The woman who had once been so proud now sat in my living room, quietly knitting a sweater for her grandchild. Life was unpredictable. Who could have imagined things would end like this? The day I gave birth. It was a boy, 3.8 kilograms. Fair and chubby. Keen Kwan held him as tears streamed down his face. My son, my son. My mother-in-law came too, trembling as she walked closer to look at the baby. Good, so good. He looks just like Keen Kwan when he was little. Lying on the hospital bed, watching this scene, I felt an unexpected sense of peace. The past was truly past. The 5 million was gone. Keen Kwok was in prison. My mother-in-law was old. But life had to go on. Tiu Tuyat, Keen Kwan said as he brought the baby over. Look, our son is smiling. I reached out and gently touched his cheek. He looks like you, and like me. We looked at each other and laughed together. Outside the hospital window, sunlight poured in warmly. I closed my eyes, and a thought suddenly crossed my mind. My mother-in-law once said, you have hands and feet. You don't need help. She was right. I truly have hands and feet. I bought my own home, paid my own debts, and gave birth to my own child. Even without those 5 million, I live very well, perhaps even better than if I had had that money. Because I finally understood one thing. In this world, no one is responsible for living your life for you, except yourself. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.